The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
He's probably... Oh my God! He's running, he's running, he's running, he's running.
And spiders. Spiders too. Hey, I'm Lindsay and I've traveled around the world on $12,000 for 12 months on my own. If you haven't checked out my series on that, it's in the link in the description below. But one of the most common questions I get from you guys, was it scary traveling on my own? Is it scary traveling solo? And what are some tips that I have for you guys if it's your first time traveling solo? So I wanted to put together a top 5 list of the most common fears for first time solo travelers and how to beat them. Fear number 5, I don't know what I'm doing or I won't know what to do. This fear shows itself in thinking that other people know what to do when they're traveling, but you don't. And you're right. Kind of. So the nature of travel is going to new destinations, and when you're doing anything that's new, you can't exactly plan for it. You don't know exactly what you're gonna get into, which means every single person, no matter where they are, no matter how well traveled they are going to get in situations that they have absolutely no idea what to do. And the only difference between veteran travelers and you is the fact that we know that we're gonna be able to figure out what to do. And the only reason we know that is because we've done it before. So let's say you are scared. The idea of going places that you don't know and the idea of not knowing what to do makes you very uneasy. That's okay. There's no athlete, artist, entrepreneur doing anything awesome in this world who started off amazing on day 1. They all started somewhere and it's a slow build. So if you're nervous about big travel, if you're nervous about taking a big trip, then start somewhere small. Start with a solo weekend trip to somewhere that you can drive to. Spend your spring break camping or hiking alone in national parks. Maybe what's scary enough for you is just going to dinner on your own. Start small and push your limits. You'll hit little obstacles along the way, things will pop up, but you've dealt with it before and you'll deal with it again. Take little steps to make yourself feel more comfortable and confident of figuring things out along the way. Fear number 4, something bad will happen. So this, yes, something really bad could happen. I'm not talking about getting robbed here, I'm talking about getting raped, murdered, or kidnapped. Those things could happen. But the way I see it, and maybe you could look at it too, is that those kind of things could happen anywhere. You could literally be walking down the street in your hometown and you could get kidnapped. That could happen. These things come in the territory of being human. They are all things that are a threat to us at any given time. What difference does it make if you're in another country as opposed to in your hometown? Yes, people prey on tourists, but that's for like pickpockets or scams. There are some places on this planet that have more issues than others. And if that scares you, don't go there. Easy. What I found is that the more I travel, the less scary the world becomes. So if you're scared to go somewhere else. Go somewhere where you aren't scared. Go somewhere that seems so fun to you. It seems way more fun and exciting than it does scary and makes you nervous. Little by little, you'll travel more and more and get less and less scared. Fear number 3, I'll lose my passport or get robbed. Lose your passport, it is absolutely not the end of the world. It is going to be a huge inconvenience and probably cost a few $100s, and that's if you haven't missed a flight. But it's still a very easily solved situation, almost no matter where you are in the entire world. Getting robbed would suck, especially if you don't have your data backed up. But if getting robbed is really one of your main fears of traveling, then I would recommend getting travel insurance that will cover all your gear, your iPhone, your camera, your laptop, and getting a cloud storage service and just backing up your data every night. Fear number 2, I could get sick. Yep, and if you're traveling for an extended period of time, you probably will. Between food poisoning, general exhaustion, or just any kind of bugs you could pick up from being in another country, there's a good chance when you're traveling you might find yourself having to use the local facilities. But I never traveled with travel or travel health insurance, and I just went to the hospital wherever I was when I needed to. To put things in perspective, when I was in Thailand, I ended up with a staph infection in my leg. For antibiotics and getting it dressed at the hospital every day for over a week, it cost me about $12. I ended up with food poisoning in both Cambodia and India, but I got through it and then ate a bunch of bland food and had some nasty tasting hydration salts for a week or so afterwards. And fear number 1, you won't make any friends or you will be homesick. So first I made a video on how to meet people as a solo traveler, but to deal with homesick, that's a little bit of a different issue. I have found that the people who get the most homesick while traveling are the ones who are constantly keeping in contact with home. And I know it sounds counterintuitive because if you miss them, you're gonna wanna reach out to them, but the more you do that, the more they're on your mind. See communication as a one-way street. Put photos on your Instagram, post on Facebook, but don't spend a lot of time consuming information from people who are not with you. Just keep focused on the moment that you're having in the place that you are instead of constantly thinking about home and the people that you miss. I hope these tips were helpful and will help you get over the hurdle of being scared to travel for your first time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.